Amen. All right, I would like to invite up to the stage now a young man named Josiah Gary. I came across him a few weeks back at, what was the name of that church? Macedonia Baptist Church, where there was a wonderful Martin Luther King Jr. celebration with the MLK choir, and Josiah gave a speech that had us all looking like amateurs. And I said, boy, I would love to introduce him to the Greenwood County Democrats. So please welcome to the stage from Ware Shoals High School, Josiah Gary.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming today, to Chairman Kimler and the Greenwood County Democratic Party. Thank you for this opportunity to share my perspective on our world and what matters to my peers and to me. Over the past few weeks, I've been talking to different students at my school. As a member of my school's student council, I also discussed this at our last meeting. Many different issues were mentioned, but there was one that was common for most of the students. This issue is student safety in schools. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, from 2000 to 2021, there were 276 casualties, 108 killed, and 168 wounded in active shooter incidents at elementary and secondary schools. There were 38 school shootings in 2023 that resulted in injuries or deaths. According to an Education Week analysis, there were 51 school shootings with injuries or deaths in 2022, the most in a single year since Education Week began tracking such incidents in 2018. That is a lot to think about for all of us, but especially for those of us who are students going to school every day. We already see all the bad things going on in the world on the news and social media. It's hard to feel safe when you go out to the mall, a concert, or even church. We have to go to school to get an education, but we might not be safe there. Imagine how we feel. We are where we should be, and someone might come in and shoot us. Many adults think that young people don't pay attention to what is happening, but we do. Seeing news reports about school shootings makes us worry about our own safety. Working to restore safety to our schools should be a top priority. If we, the children, are your future, you have to find a way to keep us safe. After I talked to other students, I took time to really think about our world and some issues that are important to me. Of course, I want to feel safe at school too. But there are a few other things that I want to share with you today. First, it bothers me to see all the conflict and division in the world. As I mentioned earlier, the news and social media are full of bad things. It seems like something is going on all the time. Wars and fighting, hate, racism, anti-Semitism, fraud, scammers, murder, and the list goes on. Can we as people really not be better? Can we learn to act in love and respect each other? Now, let's take a look at our country, the United States of America. We are supposed to be united, but from my viewpoint, I see a whole lot of division. And it starts at the top with our leaders. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you are an American, and you have to be willing to come together to put the needs of the American people first. How do we get to the point where our government almost shuts down? That is not a good look for such a powerful country. When something that should run shuts down, that usually means it's broken and it needs repairs or parts replaced so that it can run smoothly again. Is our government broken? Do some replacements need to be made? I would like for our country to choose leaders who will start to repair our government to run well and take us into the future. And speaking of the future, I am concerned with what that will be like. What can I expect as an adult? Will the economy be in good shape? Will I be able to get a job and make a good living to support my family? What will the world be like with environmental issues and pollution? How will we deal with healthcare needs, diseases, and what about COVID? What will we do about gun violence, drugs, and police brutality? Will terrorism, both foreign and homegrown, keep us from feeling safe? In the future, I wonder if our justice system will ever really be just. Will I feel threatened when I go places because of what I look like? Will people look at me as a threat just because of my skin color and gender? Will character ever be considered before color? Will we make progress to end racism or regress and keep trying to live in the past? Will there ever be true equality? Will I have the same opportunities as everyone else? Will we learn to love and respect each other? Will this world be a better place? There is a lot that I think about and that I am concerned about, even as a young man. Yes, I play my PlayStation, eat my Doritos, and watch wrestling on YouTube, but I see the world. I see our country, and I care about it and our future. I want you all to know that we, the youth, are counting on you to be the change that we need. We are counting on you to smooth out the path and light the way for us. We are counting on you to lead by example. Teach us through what you do, not just by talking. Remember, we hear you, but your actions speak louder than your words. My mother, who is actually working at the polls for the Democratic presidential primary today, tries to say things in a positive way. So instead of saying our world is a mess and we need to do better, I'll say it like I think she would. In the world today, we have an awesome opportunity to do better in many ways. At 16 years old, I want to see our world be better. I want safer schools and communities. I want our economy to thrive and for our citizens to have what they need to live their best lives. I want to see less fighting and crime and more love, cooperation, and respect. I want to be treated equally. And I am willing to follow your lead to get to where we need to be. As children, we are taught the Pledge of Allegiance. Every morning when I do announcements at school, I lead this pledge. It ends with one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that's how I will end today as well. I want to live in a truly united States of America, where we are one nation under God. Now, I know that this is not a church service, and I did not come to preach to you, but I am a child of God. So you see, I believe that we need to remember that we are under God and look up to Him to help us. I know that He is watching us, and we need to pray to Him for our communities, our state, our country, and the whole world. God is love, and we need to have love in our hearts for our fellow man. Then we will be able to stand together and refuse to let differences, issues, or anything divide us. And freedom, just treatment, and equality will be for everyone. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you again for taking time to listen to me. Please keep listening to us and encouraging us to be voters in the future and active in our government. This lets us know that we count. and that we can help change the world to make it a better place for all of us. At this time, if Chairman Kimler doesn't mind, I would like to open the floor to all of you. If you guys have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Woo! Woo! All right, who has a word or two to give to this young man? Who wants to go first? All right, Miss Torrey. Please wait for the microphone because we are recording this and we want people to hear it afterwards.
Sir, as the governor of Kansas District Optimus, you need to talk to me because they're going to have their oratorical in 2 months, and I think you can take it in the state of South Carolina.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll discuss that with my mom.
All right, do we have another question? Yes.
Good morning. That was amazing. I'm so glad you're here today. What is happening at your school to organize to address gun violence?
Addressing gun violence, every beginning of the semester, we always have a class meeting with each of the classes, lowerclassmen and upperclassmen, talking about the real issues that the school is dealing with. Gun violence is always highlighted. Any sort of real warnings. There are always sort of the rule sets. That's obvious because there's always rules in school. And really just issues in general are always highlighted at these meetings. But other than that, there's not much that is really highlighted about specifically gun violence because there's only really been one occurrence of that at the school. And so thankfully, hopefully there's no more, prayerfully. But thank you for that, and I will actually try to talk to some leadership in the school, like a principal or a higher-ranking teacher, to see if they can get more sort of outreach about this. Because, see, the recent gun law bills that have been passed, I feel like this is the time more now than ever that this needs to be highlighted, because anybody at any given moment could have one of those weapons of destruction in their pocket and be willing, all they have to do is pull it out. That's all.
All right, time for one more comment or question? All right, Josiah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. One more round of applause. Well, one thing that I learned is that the youth are listening, the youth are watching, the youth are understanding. And for some of us more seasoned people out there, how upsetting was it to hear those same words that we heard when we were growing up? The same concerns, the same topics. Hasn't changed so much in several decades. But we know that there is one party who's working on fixing those issues,